Hello, everyone. This is Raphael.
And I'm Loryn.
We're the Pacheco siblings, and welcome to the Hypercube podcast, a talk show in which two siblings converse about anything and everything. How you doing?
I could be better.
Oh my goodness, same. I'm still not 100%. I got sick over my holiday travels and vacation. And so, like I said, I'm still not 100%, so my voice might be a little funny. It's not as funny as it was last week. Last week, it got very deep and bassy, apparently. But now it's just regular funny. So
It's just regular funny.
Yeah. So if I sound a little different, that is why, dear listeners. But I mean, I don't know if you're having the same issue, though.
No, different issues. I'm just exhausted and my body hurts.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well, I think we could all say that a little bit. It's also been cold and snowy all day, and so I'm all bundled up and trying to stay comfy.
Man, it's been hot and rainy all week.
Right, it's summer for you. I keep forgetting. Yeah. But either way, everything's rough. I'm super busy and super stretched thin, and I've just got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, so, well, this is a bit of a weird episode because... Well, we did record. Well, first off, it's super late. You may have noticed. You may have noticed that this is coming weeks after the last episode. And this was supposed to be just a week after the last one. And we recorded another finale episode. However, it didn't quite work out as well as we wanted it to. We kind of discovered in the edit that it wasn't quite working. And so it was a bit of an experimental thing anyway. So there was always a chance of that. However, we discovered that a little bit too late because I was doing some traveling for a week and a half. And so going down to visit my fiance for a bit over the holidays. And you were getting all busy at that time too. And then I got sick during it. So I couldn't even record it remotely while I was out and about. Yeah. And it was it wasn't happening. So you could
have done it with your voice deep and bassy.
That's true. We could have made it an ASMR episode.
We could have.
But I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like doing anything.
Hypercube ASMR.
Yeah, we're kind of winging it now instead for a new finale. And we'll see where it goes from here. Yeah, it's been interesting. I guess we've both...
a lot of stuff has happened.
Yeah, quite a lot going on since the last time we recorded. And there's a lot of stuff that, again, because we were supposed to finish the season in mid-December, there's a lot of stuff that we've now experienced that we weren't supposed to have experienced by the time we record a finale episode. So that's been interesting. For one, we launched a whole rebrand of P-Cubed, and that's been a thing. So that's actually fully launched by this point. I just finished up the last of the things that were needed recently. Yep. So that's come with all sorts of stuff, all sorts of new graphics, new demo reel for the channel, and for the company in general, which is really cool because now we don't have to, our old demo reel was so outdated. And now we don't have to be worried about people going to the website. So that's fun. Website's been restructured a little bit. And also, there's still more I want to do on there, but yeah. Also, we got... That'll
be like little stuff here and there, just rolling it out. Yeah,
nudging it along. But we kind of retitled the channel and everything to be a little more consistent across all our platforms. And all good stuff. And of course, we also have...
Deneth?
Yeah, we got Deneth stuff coming out. Oh, Instagram. That was the thing. We have an Instagram account now. Yeah. That's worth noting. So if we ever do
a little bit of fuss.
I don't know what's up with Instagram. They make it really difficult for you to make accounts, and in a way that like no other website makes it difficult. So, they've got issues.
But my professional Instagram account got eaten and I don't know how to get it back.
Yeah, well, we tried multiple times to make a P-Cube Collective Instagram account, and none of them worked because they're like, this violates our policies.
Yeah,
but this last time it didn't.
Not real. It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah. And so anyway, it's a very nonsensical platform in many ways from like a logistical standpoint. But you know what? The Zuck didn't get us this time. So that's literally all there is to it. But I honestly think doing it from a different state might have helped. But that's
so strange.
Neither here nor there. It is very bizarre. It is a bizarre place. this Instagram thing. But you know what? All the social medias are kind of bizarre these days. Like Twitter doesn't have an identity anymore. And like, you know, what even is Threads? So it's, you know, some people are on this blue sky thing. But anyway, it's Instagram's a great platform for creating a platform and, you know, promoting some stuff. So definitely every time we've been experimenting with shorts as well on YouTube. You guys may have seen that with the latest Alien one shot we did. So anytime we do stuff like that, that has more a place to live if you do the Instagram thing and like cool little clips and bits and bobs showing up in your feed every now and again. So yeah, go follow that. It's Collective P3 because we couldn't do P3 Collective.
It's Collective P3?
Yeah. Have you not seen the Instagram account yet?
I haven't seen it yet. I've been busy.
You run this company.
I've been busy. I've been busy literally every single day for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's Collective P3 because we couldn't do P3 Collective because that's what one of the failed accounts used, and you can't use the username again. Yeah. So
oh, man.
Yeah, unfortunately. But
that's
you know what?
Stupid.
It still works. It works. It's stupid, but it works. But yeah, go check that out. Still have some updating to do to it, but we're going to be promoting that in the coming weeks, hopefully, if we don't get sucked back into the busyness vortex, which we might, because we have a lot of stuff coming up in general. There's an Eden Season 2 teaser trailer coming up for one. There's all sorts of interesting things going on, but I think this is going to be, we're kind of talking beforehand that this might be a generally forward-looking impromptu finale podcast because there's a lot to look forward to. I think 2024 is a new year that's going to come with a lot of changes. And I think for both of us, we just have a lot going on in our personal lives and in our professional lives that it's just going to be a different year for sure. I feel like it's going to be like a kind of, not even a soft, but like a hard reboot for both of us in many ways. Like for me, certainly I'm entering into a new chapter of life. In fact, as of the moment that we're recording this podcast, I'm 3 weeks to the day away from getting married. So that's new. And with that comes also a move to halfway across the country.
Going to the Midwest.
Yeah. Which is, you know, crazy because I've now lived like across the entire USA, you know, from the West Coast to the East Coast and now the Midwest. All I have to do is be a little bit more central or a little bit more Western, like Mountain Time. Mountain Time will be the only time zone I will
time zone you haven't lived in
this within the US. So I'm really exploring, I guess. But you've been exploring a bit longer, so you're a bit further along in the time zones.
A little bit.
So, you know, and then of course you're making that a more permanent stay in this coming year. So that's, you know, there's all sorts of craziness that's happening.
Come February or March, I'm going to I'm going to apply for my permanent visa here in Australia. Then I'll be a resident. I'll be considered a resident at that point.
Permanent resident of Australia.
Yeah. That's
crazy.
It is. It is kind of crazy.
That's crazy
Australian.
to say.
Well, I'm almost Australian. I'm going to be pretty close to Australian.
An Australian permanent resident. Which, you know, there's a lot of people. Like Mo Gibson.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he's a citizen.
No, he's just a permanent resident.
Oh, is he? I thought Mel Gibson was a citizen. No. Anyways, but yeah.
Which is weird because he has some sort of equivalent of like, I guess, Australian knighthood.
Exactly.
Which I thought you wouldn't do that without being a citizen.
Exactly. That I would have thought that would have
surely
precluded getting knighted as being a citizen.
Which I don't get how that works because like Australia, I mean, they're not British, but
not anymore.
They still have some sort of honor system, I guess.
No, they are, well, because they are a Commonwealth of the Crown. So they have ties to the Crown, but they're not like they're independent, but they're still basically, I guess, kind of like Puerto Rico, right?
Right. They have ties to the Crown, but they really don't care that much.
But it's mostly ceremonial, and so in that way, all of they still nobility
got a Union Jack in their flag, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, that's pretty weird.
And the Queen and the King are on all the money still.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently, they just started minting like coins with the King's face on it now because it was the Queen the entire time.
Oh wow, how's that going?
I haven't seen any yet, but I have met people who have seen the new mints. So it's pretty exciting. People are like, oh wow, they started getting out the new coins.
Wow, who'd have thunk? Coin enthusiasts must be excited.
I mean, it's just their money. Like, could you, Raph, could you imagine like next year, something like that? You get a $10 bill and it's got like, I don't know, Biden's face on it or something.
That'd be weird. I don't know how it would feel if we minted any new currency. Like we certainly don't need any more coins. We're still having a hard time getting rid of the penny.
You need to literally get rid of it.
We just need to get rid of it.
Costing you guys so much money.
Oh my goodness. We're just bleeding pennies. But yeah, like even if it was $1 bill, what would we even do?
Yeah.
Like, what do we even need? Is there
Can you imagine? Like you have a stack of Benjis and it turns into like a stack of Trumps?
Well, surely. Surely we can't do one that's already been done, right? They would have to be for something new because everything's so classic. You know, there's too much legacy behind it. They wouldn't.
You'd have to release like a $10,000 bill or something.
Yeah, or a $1,000 bill. Even I don't think we have a $1,000.
Is there not a 1,000? Oh, okay.
I don't think so. Hold on, let me look this up because I have to know. Huh. So apparently they used to have larger bill denominations, such as 500, 1,000, 5,000, and 10,000. But they no longer print them, but they still exist somewhere and may still be used as legal tender.
They're still valid. Yeah, it's still valid currency. They're just not making any new ones.
Yeah, but who the heck was on it?
Some dead guy.
I mean, yeah. Oh, Cleveland, I think.
Grover?
Was that Grover Cleveland?
I don't know. I mean, unless you're talking about Cleveland Brown.
Yeah, I believe that's the president's name. Interesting. Wow. That is fascinating.
Oh, there you go.
Well, there is a $1,000 bill.
At least, that's true. There is.
There is. It's still legal.
And there is, technically.
Oh, apparently there was a $100,000 bill with Woodrow Wilson.
Oh.
Interesting.
I don't know who the heck would be needing a $100,000 bill.
Yeah, I don't know either. But still, they could do it. I think if they brought back large denominations, they would probably, that'd be another way to do it though, you know?
Yeah.
Without upsetting anything and just put a new face on it. Like who? I don't know. We need a Roosevelt, you know what I mean? Somewhere.
Here in Australia, the $1 and $2 denominations aren't bills, they're coins.
Really?
Yeah. So the coins are, I think it's like 5, 10, 25, 50. And then for $1 and $2 are also coins. So the cents are all silver, and then the $1 and $2 are gold. I don't think they're made of gold, but they're called the gold coins, right? Because like you have to like differentiate them. Right. And then the bills start, I think, at like 5, 10, 50, 100. I don't know. But yeah.
Wow. That's fascinating.
Also, amazing thing about the bills here, or just like all of the currency here, because I think this started in some of the other countries first and then like got adopted. I know like Canada, I think, has the same system where all of the bills, every denomination is a different size. Like, so the smallest, the physically smallest bill size is the 5, and the physically biggest bill size is like the 50. So if you are, sight impaired and you are touching this thing, which has no indication on it of what it is, you would go, oh, okay, so this is a 5. Here you go. Here's a 10. Here you go. Here's a 20. Here you go.
That's actually really cool and very smart and very accessible. I like that. That is, just kind of logical, isn't it?
The stories that I've heard of sight impaired people in the US who have to like organize cash is just like, you have to basically get a sighted person to say, hey, what bill is this? And then they say, that is a 20. And you have to like take their word for it. And then different people will like, I've heard systems where people will like take the different denominations and like fold them in certain ways. So like they'll, folded lengthwise means 20, folded hamburger is like a 5 or whatever. And then like sideways, or I don't know. But then that way, when they reach into their purse or their wallet, they're like, okay, I can tell what I'm paying for now. But that's all reliant on a sighted person telling them in the first place that they're given accurate cash. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, with accessibility on devices, how we talk about, some devices have good accessibility options, but they cannot be turned on without somebody who's not impaired in any way turning them on. So that's a bit of a design flaw. Stuff like That kind of screen readers and things like that should be on by default during the setup process and then turned off during the setup process if you don't need it.
Exactly. Accessibility should be opt out, not opt in.
Exactly. So here's the question though: are their bills paper or plastic?
Oh, it's hella plastic, dude. It's the best. It's like,
oh man, how's that?
It's amazing. It's well, kind of, because there are some downsides to having plastic money, which is the fact that you can't really do origami with it, and that's the only downside.
a vital use of your bills. Oh, that's sad.
And it's a legit thing, because I remember being able to like there's a thing you could do with like
you can't play football with
bills.
them.
Yeah, or like you can fold in such a way to like make the president smile and stuff. It's like like you can't really do that here. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just haven't tried hard enough. I haven't tried putting a crease in one of these.
Maybe you just need to be a bit more creative or ambitious, whichever comes first. But yeah, so I mean, again, all fascinating stuff that are happening in our lives. So if things get a little radio silent for the next couple of months, that's probably why, as we're establishing ourselves in very different life circumstances. But after that period, though, no doubt we'll be nose to the grindstone again, because we've got a lot going on, a lot we still want to do with our careers, with the channel, with our creative work. And I think it's going to be a lot of stuff, like both within the P-Cubed umbrella and also outside of it, right? Like I finished a novel a while back that I still need to get published.
And
things like that.
I still need to proofread it. Not proofread it, but like what's the word? What's the right technical term for it?
Just read it, really. Read it. Well,
I finish reading it. I apparently you changed some stuff that I had already read, so I have to read it all the way through again. But I know the story halfway up.
Yes, this is true. You do know the story halfway up. Haley has actually read it in its entirety, and she loves it. So first good review.
It's great. It's great. Okay. I don't know how much we could talk about your novel. Before it gets published, but like,
is this one of the first times we talked about it on the podcast?
I think it's been briefly mentioned, but not like in any detail. I think that it has been known that there is a novel, but that's about it. But yeah, like your novel, really good. First of all, just like solid, of course, solid writing, solid storytelling, solid world building, everything that we're known for. But like, it's the exact kind of thing that needs to be a novel, and also like someone's like first novel, right? Where this is the kind of thing where this is your breakout piece of prose that if somebody reads this and is like, oh man, this is how this person writes, I can't wait to see what they do next, because it's exactly the right kind of like first novel.
Oh, well, thank you. So I got 2 good reviews already.
I haven't even finished it yet. I haven't gotten to the.
Yeah.
I'll read the second half and I'll let you know if that changes.
I'll send both of you to the Amazon review page when it's published. Oh, but thank you. That means a lot, and I'm glad to hear it. It's definitely one that's been in the works for a long time and has had a lot of thought and intention put into it as a debut novel, and it's something I'm really excited about and something I want to do more of if I can find the time in between all the other projects. But I think as far as P-Cubed goes, as far as the collective goes, I think Eden Season 2 is going to be our primary focus for a bit. Yeah. And I think really just nailing that down and again, putting those to the grindstone and just getting it done, because there's actually a lot that's been done on it lately, which is how I'm able to cut together a teaser for this month. But it's well into production at this point. Most of the things that are holding me back are just time and also assets that I'm still waiting on. And so,
and most of that just because I haven't had it. Most of it just because I haven't had much time to get to working, because like I've been too busy working on just everything else, trying to get to the point where I can start properly focusing on like production stuff. Cause like,
because we're both in a bit of transit right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We're we're spending the first quarter of this year getting settled, and hopefully, Lord willing, we can get settled and get back to work on the stuff we want to be working on afterwards, which not to say that this isn't stuff we don't want to be working on, but I mean like creatively, at least. Yeah. Because obviously we're really excited about all of these changes, but the problem is all of these changes take basically the entirety of your life while you're in the midst of them. And so,
but not only that, it's like if you don't do it, you can't get to the part that
exactly,
like
yeah,
the creative
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, so that's why creative stuff has been kind of on the back burner for the time being. But we're hoping to get all our ducks in a row, and then once we get ourselves settled and established, then I'm just looking forward to sitting still for a bit. You know what I mean? And not doing any more traveling, not doing any more running around, job hunting, house hunting, all of that for a while. Like I just want to just stop and just get gigabit internet and just get back to work. You know what I mean?
That'd be really nice.
I can. I mean, it's an option in all the places I'm looking to go. Particularly because that's actually a lot more common than it used to be. Because fiber isn't the only way to get gigabit internet anymore. Most cable can do it too.
Options have changed.
Yeah. Cable can get up to gigabit internet, whereas fiber can do gigabit and beyond. And so, but it's an option. It's an option that I have available to me if I want to, put out the cash. So these are all things that have to be settled. But as long as I have quality internet and as long as I'm set and I know where I'm going to be for the next 5 years, then I could just sit down and just be like, okay, I'm settled for a while. Let's do some art.
Well, it's like the difference between like stressful work and non-stressful work, where it's like there's work that just has to get done, and then there's work that you're looking forward to doing.
Exactly. Yeah. But, and of course, it's all to an exciting end. I'm looking forward to the married life and to settling into a place and planting roots. And it feels like a lot is on the back burner for both my fiance and I until that point, right? Until we get those roots planted. Because, obviously Haley's a performer. And so she wants to, it's a bit easier to do that when you've got your roots planted somewhere and you have a home base to come back to, right? Because then it's like, okay, she can go and, do auditions in other states or other cities, and it's like you can book jobs for that and still know you have a place to come back to once that's over. Yeah. And that is if you don't want to live the nomadic life, which a lot of performers do, is just travel to where the work is and then just keep on moving along and then just couch surfing or vanning it out until then. So it's, that's a whole lifestyle. And certainly not one that I'd ever be able to do. I know you've considered doing the van life for a while yourself, but I mean, there are definitely certain types of people that is for, but for us, we like having a home base. But
the structure of it.
Yeah. And, again, it still opens up possibilities. It's just a matter of how you're comfortable doing it. Yeah. And it still is something like, if I want to go to LA for 3 months on a production, I can, So
without the worry of
to go back to.
Yeah, without the worry of where am I going to go after.
Exactly. Yeah. That's mostly what I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see. There's still a lot up in the air for where I'm going to end up. But I guess we'll see the next time we start up the podcast season next fall, where we've ended up where we'll both be recording from at that time. And I guess that's when y'all will get your answers of how things worked out. But I'm really excited, and I'm particularly really excited to getting married later this month and being able to kind of have an impromptu family reunion, or not really impromptu, but like a very, it's
definitely not impromptu.
Definitely not impromptu.
That's like what weddings are.
Yeah. But it is a sudden family reunion that wasn't entirely expected a year ago. So it's, or I should say 2 years ago. We've been planning it about a year, but it's, it'll be really cool to see you again there in Rose. And it'll be, and really all of our family together in one place for like the first time.
That will be the first time in a
long time. Yeah, in a long time. And probably the first time.
Well, for everybody.
That it will be for a while. Yeah.
Because like with
it probably won't happen again.
For new family, this will be the first time.
Yes. And certainly with the new family, but even immediate family, like our old immediate family, like we haven't all been in the same place at the same time for years. Mm-hmm. Like I said, probably I don't foresee that happening again for a while. So that's kind of one of those
probably next time
little things.
it's probably gonna be whenever me and Rose get married.
Yeah, possibly, if everyone can make it out to Australia.
It'll be the same thing going out to the US, right? Like it's just everyone's planning.
Yeah, everyone's
the
budgeting
move, and
it.
then just like figuring out how to get there, and then it's like, oh yeah, here's some help.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's been such a struggle. But I guess, gotta do what you gotta do, and it's a once in a lifetime thing, and I'm really excited and looking forward to it. I'm excited to see y'all again in person. It's been too long, and I'm looking forward to playing D&D too, because that's a thing that'll be happening at the wedding, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I got to do some planning and logistics on this last trip that I was on. I got to try on my custom tailcoat that I'm having made for the wedding.
Yeah.
And it looks dope as heck.
Custom clothes, man. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's the first bit of custom clothing I've ever had tailored. And it's the dopest thing because it's a Victorian tailcoat and I've always wanted one, and it's in red and it's amazing. So I guess that's going to be really awesome. And I'm really stoked about the photographer that we have too. I really love his work. And so it's going to be captured. All these cool, all this production that we're putting into it is going to be captured and preserved very well. So I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Also can't wait to see y'all's outfits because apparently y'all are planning some stuff.
Well, mine's a little bit less out there, specifically also mine's a little bit less out there, but just because of the character I'm playing as well. But Rose's outfit is going to be, it's something else. It's lovely.
She's going all out, huh?
She recently I think she's got most of her outfit now. We're just waiting on a few things in the mail, but she's tried on like the base, like the base layers. It looks amazing, dude. It's so good. It looks so good. We're just waiting for the last little touches to come in.
Well, I'm excited. Oh my goodness. Yeah. If people can't tell, it's going to be a pretty nerdy and indulgent wedding.
There's going to be a full LARP session, man. There's going to be a full LARP section. It's going to be great. But yeah, the character, I guess I'll talk to you about it later because that's more private stuff. But yeah, the character I'm going to be playing, it doesn't require a lot of big showy dress. It's mostly just going to be like, just acting character stuff.
Yeah. So it's gonna be really exciting either way. I'm looking forward to the whole role play of the whole the whole thing, and as well as of course the just the beauty and significance of the day and the ceremony and what it means for me, especially religiously. And it's just there's just so much to be excited about, but it's also just nerve-wracking.
It's planning, dude. You're planning an event. You are a event planner.
I mean, I was telling Haley this the other night, actually, too, is the fact that it's like after this, I feel significantly more confident about making a feature film because that's basically the amount of like looking at our budget sheet. I'm like, with the amount of time and money and effort that is put into it, it's just like in the amount of production and design. I'm like, this is really just the process of doing like this is a production. And doing a production of this scale once has kind of reminded me, it's like, oh man, spending that much money again, I could make a film like that. And
absolutely.
It's kind of like we're doing with the end of season 2 as well. Same sort of scale. It just doesn't have the imperative to be done in the same time frame. Yeah. Because, not as much money is being put into it, even if there has been a lot of money that's been put into it. So it's a similar sort of thing. There's being able to do that is kind of a bit of a litmus test or a kind of trial run, if you will, for being able to do kind of larger scale productions that I want to get into. And that's why, we wanted to move somewhere where where we can be closer to at least some parts of the industry because, which there isn't as much of in the Midwest as there is, say, on the coasts, right? On the coasts, obviously you've got LA, you've got New York, but there's still parts of the industry that you can find in places. And kind of like what you and I have talked about, we also have come to more embrace our roles as producers and realizing
like we bring that to wherever
exactly.
we go.
Yeah. Wherever we go, that's where the industry is because we bring it with us. We bring our projects with us. We bring employment opportunities with us. The hardest part is generating capital. But anybody if there's anything I've learned being a starving artist for a bit now is if you work hard enough and save enough. That's your capital, put your own money into it. You can get people on board. It's just, you'll have to deal with being, making sacrifices for yourself.
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's what I've come to realize is just how easy it is to make money when your hobby is work in a weird kind of way, right? Where it's like the kind of thing where people make more money than they need to survive. That's just how our society functions, because people like to do things, right? And people have hobbies. People have hobbies. They go out and they go fishing. They go out and they'll go, I don't know, whatever. I recently went fishing. That's why the first thing that came to mind was fishing.
Yeah, you did go fishing, and you caught a puffer fish.
I caught a puffer fish. It was amazing. That was the cutest little thing, and then I threw it back into the water, and it was half filled up, so it was upside down. I'm like, oh, let's wait for it to deflate. All right, there it goes. Now it's swimming away. But anyways,
love how y'all were making the same face.
We'll post that picture in the show notes because it's a really funny picture.
It's such a funny picture. It really is making the same face.
But people have hobbies, right? And that's where their expendable income goes. Mm-hmm. But I realized recently, it's this entire time I've been working has been going towards essential needs, right? Obviously, there's a trip out to the US for me. That's a big trip. That's an international trip. That's a whole thing. That's everything that needs to go into that. That's a whole thing. And then I have my visa, and that's a whole thing. That's again, going to a new country. That's a whole thing. Right. So all of my income is getting sunk into these two things. But if I didn't do any of one of those stuff, I could have produced the rest of Edenith, and I would be in the exact same position I was right now. We could have just paid somebody to do all the editing, all the filming, everything like that, and it just would have been done, right? And I'm like, oh, well, next year, both of those are done. So what am I going to do with my money?
Project, yeah.
Probably exactly. It's probably just whatever the next project is. Well, we're going to finish Edenith, and then whatever the next one is, that's where the money's going. My hobbies, that's what my hobby is. The stuff that I'm putting my money towards are productions, and also some D&D stuff. But that's whatever. But yeah. So productions, my games that I want to get produced, I can get those done. I can get my card game done. I can get my board game done, and everything that I would like to do, I now have all of this income that was being set aside for essential must get done to continue living stuff. And then once that's done, I have my hobby, which is work. So now I can do more work. I can do the work that I actually like doing. So I had this realization that we're kind of living super minimalist right now. I'm literally by March.
Both of us are at this point.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally by March, which is 2 months away at this point, that goes away. That financial imperative just disappears. So all that money that was spent now gets moved to something else. So I guess I didn't really talk about this yet with you, but I have a New Year's resolution. Do you want to know what it is?
Oh, you do resolutions?
Nope.
Since when?
But no, it's just a funny thing that I was I'm going to make this a New Year's resolution. My New Year's resolution this year is to make $100,000.
That's a lot of money.
It is. And I'm I could easily do that if I tried hard enough.
You think so?
But, oh, absolutely.
Legitimately?
But, gross. Not net. Only because I have a lot of stuff ready to go, right? Because obviously once my job restrictions, because the current visa that I'm on now has restrictions for the kind of stuff that I can do for work. Once that goes away, that opens me up to do anything.
Immigration.
Yeah, immigration. I'm an immigrant. I'm taking your jobs, Australians.
Oh no! You've become the thing. You're a colored immigrant taking people's jobs.
I am a colored immigrant taking white people jobs. I work in a factory. Don't care. But
no, never mind. It's fine if you work in a factory. That's expected.
Yeah, but once those basically all the restrictions, every single restriction, it all ends. All the restrictions end.
Yeah.
Once those go away, I can finally focus on getting actually, I can actually focus on getting career jobs. Basically going Super Saiyan worker. I can get career jobs. I can get jobs that actually have somewhere to go, not dead end jobs, right? I have upwards mobility. So yeah, my goal by the end of this year is to make gross $100,000. And Whether that's possible or not, that's still the goal, right? Like, I have like a proper goal, not a dream. It's a goal. There are
hold on. Important distinction. Are we talking Australian dollars or American dollars?
Australian dollars, which to be fair, in US dollars, that's like 66,000, 75,000, something around there. Yeah. So Australian bucks.
Completely doable. I was like, that's a lofty goal. And then I was like, wait a minute. Not so lofty after all, are you?
Australian dollars, $100,000 gross. That's my goal. But like I have the steps because like I'm once I get my headshot and body shot, submit that to some agencies, start working acting jobs, get like an actual, maybe like a construction job or anything that pays good with my all the tickets that I have, my licenses. Those will pay better than whatever I'm doing now. Maybe get a forklift license or something like that. Apparently those are in high demand. But either way, I know the steps I need to take to get more income. And with more income comes more play. And once I get more play, then everyone's happy because then I can, because like my, like,
because our play is more
our play, our play is other people's jobs.
Yeah. Which is weird to say, but I guess that's true. We just have that entrepreneurial spirit where it's just like when we have fun, people get employed.
Exactly. It's like my idea of fun is hiring artists to draw, to draw custom art for like a card game or a board game. That's my idea of fun. My
idea of fun is directing an actor on, actual decent wages. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say we've kind of embraced our identity as producers.
Exactly.
Because I think for a long time, I struggled to understand what my place in this industry is. And because that's the thing is, doing the relocation thing and everything, obviously I would look at jobs in the industry and see what there is. But I very quickly realized that I don't really want to be a worker bee in the industry. You know what I mean? If someone with my skill set, because I don't want to be talent, first of all. I think I'd have an easier time if I did want to be talent. Yeah. I want to be crew and I want to be post-production, stuff like that. But the things that that are within my skill set, like the kind of jobs you can get with that are full-time, that you can make your living at, aren't really jobs that I want to do, right? They're jobs in marketing. Yeah. They're jobs in social media. They're things like that. And I've applied to a few of those things, but it's just like, if it's not something that I'm doing for a brand that I'm passionate about, which obviously I'm passionate about our own brand, because we've built it from the ground up and we know what its mission is. And so we know we can be behind it. But it's just like unless it's a brand that I'm passionate about, I don't really care for doing, for doing marketing for other people, for using my skills to that end. It's just not really something that I can easily do as a job. And it's
like physically you could do
right. I could do it.
It would just take a lot of energy.
Yeah. It would just be soul sucking, Yeah. And so it just makes me realize it's just like, I don't think, even though I wanted to push for that for a long time, I've just kind of grown to realize, no, that's not what my role in this industry is. My role in this industry is to be a producer, is to be somebody, because I just have that creative and entrepreneurial drive that allows me to start projects and bring people into them. And the thing that I've learned through, especially, Haley's a lot better and more networked than I am, but listening to her conversations with the talent in the region we're moving to, it's like the talent is out there and they're all looking for work. They're all hungry for work. And a lot of them travel for work, and they all,
if LA has taught us anything, is that everyone's an actor.
Yeah, everyone's an actor, right? Everybody is an actor, and they're all looking for work. And the problem is work isn't everywhere. And even though people looking for the work are everywhere. And so that's the thing. Like we said, we bring the industry wherever we go. That is the value we bring, is that we can bring projects for people to get on board with. And projects projects that we know we're going to put our utmost artistic effort into. And those are the kind of projects that people would love to do and rarely get paid to do. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of actors who are just kind of settling on their roles. And I just want to bring people the joy of a role that they don't have to settle on, right? A role that they can get to and be like, I have to think about this character. I actually have to do my job now. Like, wow, haven't had to do that in a while, but I've been wanting to.
Yeah. Well, that's like I talk about this a lot, and I think actually my terms for it have changed, because I used to talk about like the difference between a creative and a creator, where a creative is somebody who is or artist. Like both of them are artistic, right? They both have art skill, but a creative is somebody who generates ideas and acts on them and does all this stuff, and a creator is somebody who has the skill to create art, but that's all they do is they just make things, right? They don't really have the idea generation or creativity behind it of just to be like, hey, this is a new idea. I want to do something innovative. I want to do something creative, right? But they just like an artist or rather an illustrator who just draws like the same stuff over and over again, like a fan art, or people who get employed to just draw, other people's characters who they don't themselves put a lot of input into. Not saying that's not, everybody who does fan art, or not everybody who does like OC commissions, they're not all just creators. Some of them are creative, right? And they put their own flair into it, and they have their own stuff, and they are very, they have that drive. Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like there is a distinction between people who have the artistic skill to draw or to paint or to edit, and that's all they do is they draw, paint, and edit. Not their own stuff, other people's stuff. And they don't have that creative drive to make their own things, to be innovative, to put themselves in their work, right? And I think that's what we are. I think producer is more accurate for what that is. Like there are producers, and then there are artists, or people who just do art. And there are people who produce art, people whose thing is to create the idea, whose thing is to create the work that the artists then go to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's ultimately where I think it kind of lies, but it helps when those two are one and the same, right? When you're
because they're not mutually exclusive. They're not mutually exclusive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that's the ideal, is when you have a producer who's also an artist, because producers who are artists are going to get it and who are going to know what the artists actually want. And that's just welcoming and just good for everybody.
Ideally, the ideal artist is both, right? A producer and an artist. But I'm using this model, someone who is purely an artist is just a worker bee, but someone who is purely a producer is a corporate, right? Like they don't have any artistic vision. They're just like, oh, this needs to get done. I have this idea, do it. I don't care how, just here's this movie. It's a pitch, do it. And then you get stuff like, I don't know, like the Justice League or something. But
made by committee.
Yeah, exactly. Made by committee, right? And like those two opposite extremes neither are healthy for good art creation. Somewhere in the middle where you have both, somebody who knows the art side of it as well as the producer creation side of it, who can manage a group of artists and who also understands each role and say like, oh, you know what? Hey, here's a thing that you can do to like make your job easier. Or like, here's like an idea, like here's some like concept art that I generated because it's my idea that is going to closely represent how I would like you to have the finished product. That is amazing for creating art, for creating, a final polished piece that has spirit and has vision and it has, well, we talked about this before, but has like a point of view, right?
Yes.
Something that has like, this is saying something about whatever.
Yeah. The world, the human condition, what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the ideal, is to be able to do both. But I think we've kind of, also part of the problem is I think the old like paradigm was that you had to first be a worker bee before you can be a producer, right?
Yes. And that was, I think, the paradigm that I was stuck in for a long time.
Exactly.
Right?
I think we're both kind of like realizing that that's not necessarily
I feel like, well, because I've gone through waves. It's come in waves, honestly, for me. Because I think at first, obviously, I believed that you can just go straight to just producing, right? Like that was kind of my ambition. Is just like, you're
let's call that like
you're gonna get
like childish naivete.
Childish naivete. Yeah, and I mean, definitely like growing into it, and growing into my creativity. It's definitely something that I kind of believed, was that you could just hit the ground running, and
that's
then
the dream,
just like.
Right?
Just create what you want to create and succeed at it. And if you put enough hard work into it, it'll get big and you'll be enabled to create even bigger and better things. But,
and then you hear those like success stories of the people who do that, who just
Right.
go for it. And then they like, that 1 in a million chance that like they got their show
right.
watched or they went viral
all over the internet, right? It's like that's your Money Ohms, your Astartes, all of those guys. That's you get fed those examples because you see them. They're very visible to you if you're just looking for it, but that's exceedingly rare. But you can kind of like go gung ho into burning yourself out, creating stuff, thinking that could be you. And it's just not going to happen because it's just, I mean, it could, but the odds are just not against or not with you. And so, and so I got kind of disillusioned with that and just kind of figured it's just like, okay, well, the alternative actually is the traditional way to into the industry, which is be a worker, find the entry level and just like, PA on jobs until you make enough connections to actually do something,
to be able to have a voice.
To do something with your own voice creatively and lead your own projects. But the problem with that is that it's very geographically locked. That's not
also slow,
and it's
slow. Also really slow.
It's a slow burn. It's just you can get just as burnt out.
That's a career, right?
Yeah, you could get just as burnt out doing that as trying to be your own manufactured viral hit. It's like there's just as much burnout in that path. And
that path is designed to culminate in retirement at 60.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah. And so, I began to realize there's so many difficulties with that. Again, it has that same issue of being something you could burn out on, and it's also geographically locked. Not everybody can do that in all places because those entry level jobs pretty much only exist in the big production hubs, right? If you're not,
and now they're disappearing.
And now they're even disappearing from there, right? Like if you're not in LA, New York, or Austin, or what have you, then it's just like, where are you gonna find that work? You still have to travel a fair distance to get those that work, which in itself assumes a fair amount of stability in your life that you can, that you're able to do that. And so, I got kind of disillusioned with that. And I guess it's just trying to, now that we're both coming into new chapters with relocating ourselves, it's just kind of trying to realize, okay, what is the realistic in between that allows me to, support myself and my family while also, and, my new family, while also, being able, not betraying my values as a creative, and still telling the kinds of stories I like to tell, and doing something interesting and artistic. And that's definitely been a bit of a journey. But again, I think, that kind of in between is just embracing my role as a producer and just recognizing this. So like, it's okay if you just work jobs the rest of your life and then put any of the excess of that into producing your films. If that's what you want to do, right? If like producing your projects is the part that excites you, because the rest doesn't always excite me. Maybe for writing, I'd be willing to do that. I'm realizing, just as more of a job.
Well, like it doesn't excite you all the time,
but it does. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes for the right project, it does excite me.
I wouldn't mind doing, I like doing the talent stuff. I like doing that. Like I also like doing some of the post-production stuff. I don't really necessarily enjoy every aspect of production, but every now and then it's like, you know what? This was kind of good. Could not do this for an entire job, but like I could do it once. I could do it twice. It wouldn't be terrible, but like there's no way that could be my whole thing, right?
Yeah, your whole.
So it's like if you wanted to, you could just like, start a project and say, you know what? I'm going to edit this one. Screw it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Like it maybe it has to be done in a very specific kind of way. So you're just like, I'll edit it because I can. We know how to, and we can just go ahead and do that. And we have the skill, but it's not necessarily the thing that we want to be. Like we're not going to edit every single one of our projects, but maybe once. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or at least we'll produce like a rough cut or something.
Yeah, for sure. That skill still comes into use.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. And it's just kind of something I've been learning to embrace and finding where that middle ground is. Yeah. Because after becoming disillusioned with the extremes, which I guess is just, put that on your Hypercube bingo card of the moderation and disillusioned with extremes and all of that. But it's, I think that's kind of where we're at heading into this new chapter. But it's very interesting. I think we're probably going to start winding this down.
For sure.
But yeah, there's been a lot that's happened, a lot that's going on. I actually didn't get to talk about some stuff that I was hoping to talk about. I was hoping to talk about Silver Dollar City. I got to go there for the first time. That was fascinating.
Yeah. Well,
Also,
maybe we'll talk about that the next time when we look back on the last year.
okay, quick recommendation. Grand Shanghai Theater in Branson, Missouri. Phenomenal show. Anybody who's in the area should go see that.
Awesome.
Loved it. Very cool stuff. And I think you would definitely enjoy it if you got to go see it. I definitely want to take you at any point if you ever get to go to Branson. And it's just a great time. I'm just shocked that something like that exists in a place like Branson, but it was so cool. And that was a fun show to go to.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I want to see more live stuff. Like I need to find where the live venues are here in Australia. And just like,
oh, for sure,
where I am locally as well, because like I want to be able to find like, the small stuff.
Yeah.
Where the art is being made.
Yeah. The theaters, the venues.
Yeah. I gotta find the live
music.
Yeah. I need to find the thespian community here.
Yeah. For sure. But you're close to a hub yourself though. So Sydney is, I guess, where the hub would be.
I am. That's 2 hours away. I gotta find something closer.
Just move to Sydney.
Well, if I did, though, that'd be best. But right now, I'm not in Sydney.
Right now,
it's 2 hours up, 2 hours back.
But either way, you are close to a hub. That is valuable in and of itself. And like I said, traveling for work is, no big thing. Like if you could, you could be 2 hours away from Sydney and be like, yeah, I'll do a film up there for a couple of months.
Well, that's
I
different.
Could get there easily.
That's different. If I were working at the theater or whatever, or the film or whatever, like that's fine. I'm talking about just going to watch a show.
Of course.
Yeah. Because I'm definitely going to be probably doing a lot of trips up to Sydney for work. Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt. But either way, exciting stuff ahead. I guess this has been another very personal podcast. But you know what? It's kind of fun dishing the personal stuff because, there's a lot that's going on. And I think I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with sharing, I guess, more personalized updates like that. People get some idea of where we're at and where we're heading and what we're doing. And, who knows, that might inspire some things in people.
Maybe. Next thing, I think we should start talking more in depth about some of the projects we have going because, man, I desperately want to just update you on what I've been working on, but also just to let people know like what we're working on.
Yes, this is true. We have so many projects that we've been working on that we just haven't talked about, and that needs to change for sure in the next season of this show. Get a little bit more transparent because we love transparency. And
again, I can actually start production on some of these games that I've got in the back, in the back of my head. Because like I've done development on them, and so like they're fleshed out. They just need to be made. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Also, we haven't really got to talk about the MCDM RPG, but that's been like a hot topic lately. That just had a huge Kickstarter.
I have no idea if like this is purely organic or not, but I got MCDM Kickstarter ads on my Facebook.
I've been getting ads for it everywhere. It's been
I don't know if that's just like targeted to me or just like if there's just a ton of ads for this thing because I was not expecting to see Matt Colville's face staring at me on my Facebook feed when I was scrolling.
Yeah, it's been all over the place. Forbes did a piece on it recently. And
oh heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's because it's such a huge crowdfunding campaign and it's kind of cool to see that get its just desserts and we definitely want to play it when it's out. But
not gonna lie, I have this feeling about MCDM that
they're going to be the next big thing.
Buzz. Well, no, I think they are the next big thing. I think we are going to. So the amount of buzz that they're getting, like proper, like media attention, right?
Right. Yeah. Mainstream media attention, right? Like I said, they were in
like
Forbes.
With them.
That means you're a business now.
Exactly. Like with them in Critical Role and all these other businesses who are like basically starting entirely new models of production simply because they are the artists who are working like these jobs and are like, you know what, we're going to create conditions
to put it
that we would like to work in.
To put it in jargon terms, these are creator driven companies, right? Yeah. That's what you would call it, right? That'd be the industry term, which used to be very novel, but now you've got really big examples of it, right? Like Critical Role, like I said, MCDM, they're technically very niche creator driven companies that are now raking in like millions of dollars.
And
it's like, whoa, how did that happen? Well, it turns out creator driven is just a good idea.
Yeah, because it's like, I used to work for these jobs and these are the things that I would change. I made a job, so I changed it.
The perks of being
like
a producer.
Exactly. But the thing is, because they're getting all this attention, because they're getting all this like the actual proper media focus, there's, I think, going to be I don't know how slow or how fast it's going to be, but I think there is going to be a shift in how non-creator driven spaces are going to be formed, right? Where it's like people are going to start making jobs start making companies using these companies as models, right? Instead of saying like, you know what, I'm going to make the next Apple. I'm going to do the Microsoft thing. I'm going to be like Facebook. It's like, you know what? I'm going to be like MCDM. I'm going to be like Critical Role. And people are going to start modeling businesses like that. And the more there are, the more people kind of like, that idea gets propagated, and you're going to have these actually nice for creative spaces.
Yeah. And even those kind of stem from somewhere else, right? Like obviously Matt Colville's looking at like Complexly, and like a lot of us are as well, right? And saying like that seems like a great way to do business. But
because they're not as loud, like they're successful, but not as loud, right?
That's true. Yeah, they don't get as much mainstream media attention just because, they definitely, I guess loud is a good way of putting it. They're not quite that, but it's, still, this is like a model that has existed, and I guess just equitable business, right, is a model that has existed for a while. And it feels like we're kind of coming into an era where it's getting more attention for sure.
Exactly.
But also it's being so successful that it's like actually viable to be setting trends, which I think is unfortunate. That I think what you're saying is true. I think people are going to be using that as a model. And I think a lot of it's going to be genuine. I think there's also going to be a lot of disingenuous version of that, where
of course,
a lot of people just seeing, hey, this is what's successful now, that's why I'm going to try and do it, and not actually have a heart for people and creating good working conditions for them. So, and just creating good products out of those good working conditions. But yeah, I mean, apparently there's a thing in the UK, I think, that I feel like we should have more of in this world, which is just there's local shops will have like a sign they can put on the windows that just says this store pays a livable wage. And it's like, that's like a cool thing that I guess needs to come into more spaces. But I think now that we're seeing this, right, these big companies that are being huge successes right now and are being transparent about the way they do business because they're doing it in a fair and equitable way that doesn't have anything to hide. And I think it's quite possible that will be the model for a lot of things coming up. And that's kind of cool to see. Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like, even the ones that are disingenuous, if that is your model, it's going to be better than whatever their model would have been if they were like, again, like trying to be
exactly,
if they were like basically making a sweatshop, right?
Yeah. Which is fair, because I think
it's like those kind, like, there's going to be kind of the kind of people who are making business. There's going to be the ones who are there because they enjoy the product of it, and there's going to be those who just enjoy the fact that it makes them money, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we can start making examples of things that make a lot of money and workers are paid fairly, and like the conditions that those workers are in are like good, then people will realize I can still make all this money using this as a model. I can still make a ton of money while treating workers fairly. So that is now an option that is on the table. So as opposed to purely just like, this is sweatshop conditions, like it's just like everything is very rigorous, it's just not ideal for a human being to work in. Purely capitalistic, right? And now that there is ideas competing with that in the workspace, that's, I think, an overall good.
Yeah. I would agree to that. So that's really awesome. And I guess, it's kind of a new world in a lot of ways. And I think it's the same thing for sort of us, that's kind of more a model that we aspire to than say a Disney or a, like you said, an Apple or anything like that. That used to be the thing, right? That was the ambition you aspired to if you're going into business. And now that is really awesome that there are viable alternative options that people are starting to realize.
Exactly. Competitive ideas.
Yeah. So we got a little bit of MCDM in
All right.
there for sure before the
Right there at the
crowdfunding. Crowdfunding just ended, so that was kind of on my mind. But also, it sounds like an exciting RPG, and I wanted to play it. And
I need to look into it more because again, I haven't had any time for anything.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
we definitely need to talk about it. I think there's some ideas in there that you're going to want to steal.
Okay, so I had last thing before we get off. I had a dream the other night
Oh boy, it's always good when we start off that way.
that I was playing the MCDM RPG.
How'd that
No
go?
joke.
You don't even know what the mechanics are?
No. So full dream mechanics, right? Where it's just like, hey, everybody, we're playing the MCDM RPG, but like it's real and we're the characters, right? That's how dreams work.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's like, okay, this is like a fantasy thing or whatever. It was like, but like this is the MCDM RPG. And there was this one mechanic that that like was really important in the dream that I'm like, I have no idea if this was like if this is something that I heard, if this was something my brain completely made up, but I love it and I might use it.
your dream just made up a good mechanic.
Again, I don't know if this was based on anything. All right, you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Because I don't know. You have to tell me. Tell me if this was something that I stole already. The idea of this mechanic is, you know how there's save or die?
Uh-huh.
Level up or die.
What?
It's the mechanic is level up or die. If you survive, you level up. People who are level 5 are the ones who have survived to level 5.
That just
it's not
like,
even
it's
it's
just,
not even just like you literally, it's like you cannot go on to the next level without like a near death experience, and that is what gives you the second level power or whatever.
that just sounds that just sounds like AD&D.
That might be, but like it was genuinely, I'm like, I don't know if that's something that I stole, because that's an amazing idea. Like something that's like super short, right? So, like a short, maybe 10 episode long campaign thing where there's like 5 levels, right? And every level is a really big power jump. And like in order to get up to the next power jump, you have to like have a near death experience. It's like if you die, you don't level up because you're dead.
This is like Soulsborne level RPG.
Exactly. There is a style of play that is very conducive to that mechanic. I need to find out what it is.
Oh, amazing. Well, perhaps that's a good note to end on with this dream mechanic.
If you're listening to this podcast and you want to take that idea, take it, because I just want to see it happen. That's all I want.
That's all you want, is for that idea to exist in an RPG in the world.
Yeah, dude. Level up or die.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Well, this has been a wonderful season of the podcast. Not all of our dreams came true. Again, we had to cut possible finale episode. We also had to cut an interview that we had scheduled for this season that has been pushed to the next season because of scheduling conflicts, but I'm actually really excited about that one. I'm just going to tease it here. I'm not going to say who, but we have a really exciting guest interview that we had to push to the next season. But ideally, we should be back by fall of 2024. Seems to be when we start these seasons up, and we'll be going for another round. But yeah, it's been a really strong season. I think we had some really great episodes. I think this podcast has really found its footing now, and its identity now that we've refined that a bit. But I'm also just, I'm excited about everything that's coming next in our lives. I'm excited that we're getting a break from this podcast so that we could sort all that stuff out. And that by the next time we're in season, we will be in completely different places, physically, mentally, emotionally. So it's going to be, I guess, the next time you hear from us on this podcast, all that will have been done, and you will see the fruits of all of that labor. And I'm looking forward to that. And I guess this is here now as a little time capsule of our immediate mindset in the weeks leading up to these big changes.
Yep. Let's see how everything comes out in the end, and we'll see how close we are to our goals, or if we've accomplished our goals.
We'll see if you made $100,000. And
I'm start keeping a tally.
All right.
Every dollar I make.
Put it in the little piggy. So it's exciting. It's exciting though. Well, love you very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks, face to face.
It's incredible. I'm a day ahead of you, so it's 20 days for me.
Oh, snap. That's cheating. Well, you're traveling back in time to get here, so it's the same amount of time.
That's fair.
Yeah, you're time traveling. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to all of it.
Yeah, I love you too.
Thank you all very much for listening. And this has been the Hypercube podcast. This show is edited by Loryn Pacheco, mixed by Raphael Pacheco, with original theme music by Mono Memory. Until next time, we'll see you all later. God bless.
Adios.